Hey everybody, how you doing? Let's take a look at this video. As you can see by the caption, it says, this economy is so bad that a mandatory support system, that a support system is mandatory, sorry. This economy is so bad that a support system is mandatory. So let's go ahead and have the discussion. And I'm going to also show you a person who tried that, and then we'll just see what happens. Here we go. My job today, but oh well, who cares? But like, I just want to talk about this because this is something that is really pushed on us heavy in the African American community. I don't care what nobody say. Prioritize building yourself a support system. I don't care what nobody say because people be trying to have this mentality. Oh, I don't need nobody. All I got is me. I don't need to look out for nobody. Hustle and grind. This economy ain't no joke. People be in two-income households still struggling to make ends meet. Yep. Like, it really is hard out here. Like, this is the hardest it's literally ever been. Like, I don't care what nobody say. Like, all of these prices is out of control. So, prioritize building yourself up a community. I don't care what nobody say. Like, two single moms can stay together. Go get with your people. Get them a couple dollars to stay. Prioritize. Don't be messing around trying to date all these different people. If you messing with people and they can't help you at all, they not beneficial to nothing that you got going on, let them go because this economy ain't no game. Like, I ain't never even really been the type of person that was like pressed for a dude, but it's to the point where like I literally just wanted a boyfriend, like just so that we can come together and pay bills. I don't care what nobody say. Like, all that, I don't need nobody, all I got is me. Yeah, no, that's not no easy way to live. I don't care what nobody say. Okay, so she says it's not an easy way to live, and I totally get it. I totally get it. Look at this. You see this front door? That's the lady's apartment. And guess what's happened? You already know by now. She's getting evicted. Okay? That's the young lady on the screen. She's getting evicted. And it sounds like to me she tried this very same thing. But sometimes you get hurt and burned so much you can't take a chance. This is why you're going to have so many people homeless. So I'm just going to play part of her video. She has an apartment. She's a single mom. And she has a brother and a sister. They obviously moved in with her. So you're thinking that sounds like a system. Hey, she's a mom. So, maybe someone can be there to watch the child. Someone's always in the home. It sounds idealistic, but you can't do this with everybody. So you saw the door, the lock is off of it, and she's getting her things. Listen to this.
Yeah, so literally, all my stuff is free range. Like, oh my goodness.
So no lock on the door, anybody can just come in.
Okay, y'all, so yeah, I'm literally taking everything down, trying to have them do everything by tonight, y'all. So this is everything I got, y'all. I got my whole closet. I'm breaking everything down.
Showing her apartment.
I got all of these clothes.
Wow, it's a lot to do.
Y'all, this is really a lesson learned for me to not, like, you always have to have a plan B, or it's just best to do stuff on your own.
You hear what she said? It's just best to do stuff on your own. So what the prior lady was speaking about, this is a good example why. Let's continue.
You always have to have a plan B, or it's just best to do stuff on your own. And the only reason, I have my own place, but the only reason why we agreed to move together is like, okay, we can all help each other, somebody got work, we can have somebody just be in the house to help, watch the kids. Like, my sister had a kid, I got a kid, like, you scratch my back, I scratch yours, and it was never none of that in this house. So I just do want to take the time out to thank God that I'm going through the situation, because it's just a lesson learned. Like, it's definitely a lesson learned, and just, I'm ready to get out and get my own stuff anyway. So I'm trying to see the bigger picture of this stuff, y'all. And all in all, y'all, brother called police on me. I ended up spending like $800.
Hold on. So she and her sister stay there. They both have children. The brother also stays there. And what did she just say?
I'm ready to get out and get my own stuff anyway. So I'm trying to see the bigger picture of this stuff, y'all. And all in all, y'all, brother called police on me. I ended up spending like $800 to get my car out the tow yard.
Her brother called the police on her.
And paying for insurance. Then I had to bail my baby daddy out. Then we had to pay for We had to pay for application fee, which was 300 something. We're paying for U-Hauls and storage units, and then we got paid down payment. Y'all, all in all, I done came out almost $3,000, $4,000, plus the money, the 1,700 that he won't give me back. So now I had to take him to court on that. That's just, it's a lot, y'all. It's a lot. I just want to get far away from my family. I promise, like, as soon as I get my money, I'm never ever talking to them ever again. Like, I have nothing for them, they have nothing for me. And it's healthy and it's best if I separate myself from my own family, which is sad to say, but my family is just, they're not good people. They're spiteful and they're evil. And I don't know, maybe they're evil. Like, they're evil. They're doing the devil's work for real. I just hate that nobody thought about my daughter. Who's my daughter, y'all?
Mhm.
I kept telling my mom, like, tell your son just send me my rent and we're good. No.
What did she say?
I kept telling my mom, like, tell your son just send me my rent and we're good.
That was the problem. She tried to have that system. So this right here, this lady is talking about, oh, the economy is so bad that a support system is mandatory. That is ideal. However, it is not necessarily realistic. This young lady right here, she already tried the same thing, and the sister moved out. She left a mess in her room. And when she said the part about, and the brother also lived there. So the idea of trying to pull together, you can't with some people. You can't. And that's why people say, no, I'm on my own, because they know what can happen. Then she's applying for other places. And then I saw a video, I saw the caption says, I keep getting denied. Let me guess what that means. That tells me she probably keeps getting denied another place to live. So now that she has lost her spot, guess what? Once you get evicted, no one's going to really rent you. That's just the way it is. The mom and the pop landlords have been pushed out. I said it before during the pandemic. People not wanting to pay, people that could pay and weren't paying. Oh, you think you're being really slick? I'm going to save money, get over. I said it's going to come a time, and that's happening now. When those VCs show up, venture capitalists, big companies show up buying whole neighborhoods, you're going to find out it's black and white. Credit, eviction, out. No one, they don't want to rent to you. So she has an apartment. I understand her name was on the lease. A brother staying there and a sister with a child, and they couldn't make it work. Why? Because someone's going to always want to get over. Someone's gonna always want to get over, and people like this here. Oh well, your name is on it, not mine. That's why they do that. So in some communities, and speaking of people, that's why it gets to the point where it seems idealistic. Oh yeah, have a support system. No, because there's gonna be some users and abusers in the support system, and they want to get over. Why do you have to tell your mom to tell her son, your brother, to pay his rent? He knows to pay it. He stayed there. That's why it's hard to get a support system.
I kept telling my mom, like, tell your son just send me my rent and we're good. No, nobody was doing none of that.
So then you wonder why people don't want to get involved. If people can sustain their own, they want to keep it that way because things like this happen. Why should she have to tell her mother to tell her brother to pay his rent and we good? So that obviously he didn't pay. Gee, she's getting evicted, you think? This is why a support system, sure, it sounds like the ideal thing to do, but it's not easy. You have to have a support system with people you're on the same level. This makes no sense. So now her credit impacted. So she's already spent $3,000. The brothers called the police on her and all this drama. She's already out of $3,000. And I hate to say it, once you have an eviction, you can, I'm sorry, forget trying to apply for different places. They've been saying it, they won't take you. Application, 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 application. So maybe, just maybe, if she hadn't had those two other rooms for her brother and sister, maybe that wouldn't have happened. Oh, let's pull together. That's why it is so hard. So, support system, you have to have a support system with people that are like minded. Can't be one that wants to always get over. A lot of people are like that. I have seen it personally. Some people can do it, everybody cannot. too many users, too many people want to out there short-sighted. And then when you look up, you think about it, you see a person like that. What about the brother and the sister that moved out? Stop and think. What if they knocked on your door? To me, it would be a hell to the no because I saw what you did to her. Why take a chance? Dysfunction. Just can't get along. And that's why some communities suffer more than others. That's why some families suffer more than others. Um, I just saw a property. You're not going to believe this. I had to call my friend. The building, the lady told me, was built in 1920, and we talked to her. She was excited to be there. She said, "Oh, you basically have to die just to get in. You got to die to get in here." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" She said, someone has to die to get in here." And I'm like, "What do you mean someone has to die to get in here?" She said, "Because," and it was so charming. Like I said, the building was the 1920. Looks like it was maybe 12 units. It was so charming. It's like, oh my God, you don't find this architecture anywhere anymore. You just don't find it. And look how the patios are kind of narrow, but this is really cute. This is like so cute and so quaint. She said, yeah, the building was erected in 1920. And she said, all the people staying here are descendants from the original owners. It's 2025. So this building has been there for 105 years. They are the descendants of the original owners. And the only way she got in is that the last guy that died, he and his partner, uh, cannot, not children. The last guy that died, he was the last in his family. And that's how she got in. She said, but all the rest, they don't sell. It's just passed down. So you have condos from 105 years. Think about wealth building. 105 years, all the ones staying there is their ancestors. So whoever purchased it in 1920, that's their apartment/condo. That's their apartment that they purchased in 1920. And look, their ancestors are living in it today. No wonder you have the nice vehicles out front. I was telling my friend that, I said, look at this building. I sent a picture. Can you believe this? So the people that purchased this in 1920, you telling me that these are all their answers? She says nobody sells. What did I tell you? Though everybody was on one accord. 1920's been dead. So let's say a 30-year mortgage, it's been paid since the 50s. 70 years. That's how you create generational wealth. I couldn't believe it. 105 years. She said they do not sell. She says everybody staying here, it's been handed down. But you can't do that. We can't do a simple thing like honor a lease and everybody pay their part. Can't even get that part. So you can forget about that. That is how wealth is built. It's not built on being selfish. Somebody has to game plan. That's why I say there are cultures within cultures. Definitely. I was shocked. Can you imagine? There are cultures within cultures that I got this. I'm gonna go ahead and sell it. What she just described to this young lady,
They doing the devil's work for real. I just hate that nobody thought about my daughter. Who's my daughter? Yeah.
so she and her daughter, of course, that's her child, they're evicted.
I kept telling my mom, like, tell your son just send me my rent and we're good.
If you have those kind of people in your family, how can you build? And I thought about it. She said they just pass it down. Everybody's standing there. They didn't buy these. It's all been inherited. So all those people, they have to be on one accord. I was like, wow, nobody sells. They're just passing it down. And this is in a very nice neighborhood, you think, and very upscale. It's not in the hood. Hell no. How did they get there? Understanding. They have systems in place. So when you have a system where you have people who want to always get over, you'll know we'll never understand it. We'll never have it. We'll always be scratching and surviving, like on good times. So this here having a system in place is mandatory. Some people don't want a support system. You can't have a support system when you have people that she had living with her with family like that. You just can't. That's why you have to do it on your own. And then when some of us do, why is that black person always crying because they made it? Because we understand you pretty much sometimes have to build it on your own. I said, wow, look at that. That's why I said, oh, it's just so charming. So no, there is no, like she said, someone has to die. And she's like, yes, so one guy finally did. That's the only way she got in. But think, a building, 105 years been in those families. It sounds like to me they're on one accord. No, she said all of them. So one person, what a good man leaves an inheritance to his children's children. That's an example of that. Doesn't leave poverty. A good man will leave an inheritance to his children's children. It sounds like what they did. We can't even get. Some of us can't even get through a lease. Somebody gonna dip out. I've seen that before. Two families bought a house from my community, a real nice house. What happened? Because they really couldn't afford it on their own. Both of them bought a house. What happened? Everybody's at work. One of the families gets mad about something, they want to pay their part and move on out. Just the ignorance of it all. That's why support system in certain communities, good luck with it. Someone I know, their family member, that man went off to war. His brother, I mentioned it before on the channel, his brother and his wife, they were getting evicted. He said, hey, you can go ahead and stay at my house, just go ahead and just pay. They're evicted, nobody else want to take them in. So he let him stay in his house. But then a year, actually took less than that. He was already paying. That man was gone. Coming back for a visit. That man, I think he had been gone maybe 2 years. He said all they have to do is just pay the mortgage. That's it. Nobody else is going to take him in. Guess what happened? The brother moved in with his wife and kids, and they said it was the wife's idea. Next thing you know, they moved in, and guess what? They paid a little bit. They just totally stopped paying. They stopped paying, and they stayed in that man's house, and they were both working, and they saved up their money, and then they went and bought them a house. So and he came home, going to see mom and all of that. Then he come home, he got a notice. Then he look up, what's all these letters from the bank? The man came home facing foreclosure. Why? Because his brother and his rotten wife, both of them, he listened to her too, but they said it was her idea. They stayed in the man's home. They paid the utilities just barely. They stayed there at work, saved their money up, went and bought them a house, and they had already moved out. So when he came home, he had that notice. It was foreclosure. So how are you going to have a support system for people like that? It's always a get over mentality. You have to be the light. It's easier said than done. Man, when she told me that, I was just shocked. The house foreclosure. Foreclosure? No one said anything. It was like, why didn't you tell him why he was over there? Oh, I didn't want to get him upset. You can't. That's why That's why certain communities can't build. It's that mentality. Always to get over. Always want to hurt somebody. I don't know why, but I do know why. Because you lack self-love. So this her a support system. You have to be of the same mentality. Anyway, I wish the best of luck for this young lady here. I mean, out of $3,000 and all this drama and still can't find a new place. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So I'll just say, I'm not going to say she can't. It may just take time, but I hope she does. So let me know what you all think. A support system is mandatory. It's easier said than done. And I'm out.